Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and originally I was thinking of titling this video maybe a half fail or a semi fail or a partial fail, but no, this is a full fail. This is the PHP 3A by Bluepoint or Snap-on. It is a made in USA hose clamp plier. Now it's a hose clamping plier, not the hose clamp plier like this Snap-on, which this is ideal. This is my favorite at the moment. But anyway, going back to this guy, a lot of the stuff where I need a hose clamp plier is fuel lines, especially on older or vintage vehicles like this. I traditionally grab my Matco. I've got the HP 55 here. This is just a solid plier, also made in the USA. I don't know who makes these. Great plier. I like the friction fit design, so if you squish down on something, it just holds real simple, and then you can pop it free. No levers or ratcheting mechanisms or anything. I've got a larger one if I need to do some radiator hoses or something like that. You know, that's where these come in. But I thought this is a great idea. A little tiny one for little tiny jobs. Now, why is it a fail? Well, okay, here is the Snap-on catalog. The current one, this is a 1600 Snap-on catalog. And you go in here, and right here is the PHP 3A. Go down here, PHP 3A 5.5 swivel jaw hose clamp plier from Bluepoint, 5.5, blah, blah, blah. Hose clamps hoses up to 3/4 of an inch outer diameter. That's what I thought. Well, if I put a tape measure on this guy here, what I'm working with is approximately 1/2 inch, okay? Get that to focus. And I thought that's what I need for this kind of a scenario. But if I pop this off and take my hose clamp pliers and try this, even if I work on centering them, assuming that I have the clearance to center it, and squish down, I can still blow through this. Try again, maybe the other way. I can't seal it. There's a little bit of a seal. Like I almost got it there. That's why I thought originally about a partial fail. But then this is why it's a total fail. This starts to splay apart, and the more I was using it, the more, look at that it would start to come apart. Now, is this sealing? Turns out at this point it is, but if I try it again, that's blowing through it. It's really hard to seal. You grab it with something a little bit larger and it crunches it, dead seal. Absolutely no problem. So this is not rated for even 1/2 inch. This is what a 3/4 inch tube looks like. And when I put these on here and squeeze, not even close. You can see through there. That's squeezing as hard as I can. There's still a huge gap. I don't know where they got that number, but I can't get it to seal. And you have to, I can't blow through it and test it, because if I'm popping it off of a fuel filter, I don't want a bunch of fuel to be dripping out all over the place. So what I need is something that definitely is sealed. There's no fuel coming out. I know that. I can trust this plier. I cannot trust this. There's almost a 50, nah, it's probably a 10% chance that fuel is going to drip out of this thing. So these are just too small. And I think what they did is they scaled down everything. What they wanted to do, what they should have done, is used a really thick, heavy-duty steel all the way through, but just shrunk everything else. Instead, they shrunk it way down. I mean, these are kind of flexible. You can see how I can bend those. They look great. They might be good for maybe aquarium air tubing, or I don't know, if you're making beer, you know, in your chambers and you need to pinch off something. You know, these don't work, of course, because they're for something else, and they simply can't squish it far enough. But anyway, so I'm calling this a full fail on these Bluepoint. I'm disappointed. I'm going to talk to Snap-on about them. These are $40 off the truck. $40 off the truck. I think that's that's near what I paid for these. So I don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. If you've got a better one that you suggest. I like the idea of the small compact form factor so I could get down. Usually these are wedged in, you know, in between the engine and the engine housing area, and I just thought that's great. I use them for small engines, working on things, although I've pretty much gone electric for about everything else. And they're just great, you know, if you need to clean out something, a carburetor, whatever, to just pinch something off. But not these, unless you've got a really tiny, flexible fuel line. But given that I knew I was going to need it primarily to run, you know, for the fuel lines on stuff like this, you know, that disappoints me, because that was my number one use. Whoops. Number one use right there. And it doesn't even come close. Sorry, Blue Point. Got to fail on this one. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.